If you're trying to take pictures of your dogs for social media or to share with your friends and family, and you want to communicate that we're in a cold season, but it doesn't necessarily look like it's cold outside because the sun is shining, the grass may still be green, there may still be leaves on the trees, you may be living in a place with pine trees where it's always green and it doesn't look like winter, how do you kind of say, hey, it's colder weather here, and translate that well into your photos? I have been a professional photographer a lot of years, and it really boils down to a couple of things. You can, one, learn how to Photoshop, where you can take your yellow-based lighting and move it over to the blue side of the spectrum, where you are going to do this in your editing. You can also do this on their phone by changing the warmth levels. But more so than that, we're leaning heavily into things that represent winter. So I'm talking about props a little bit. I want you to take your phone, take your camera, take your whatever outside, and you're going to be photographing or taking video and taking screenshots of your dog in winter apparel. So you can put them in coats, you can put them in sweaters, you can add a little scarf around their neck, you can put them in hats, and you're just gonna let them run. I don't want you to be forcing these photos. If your dog is really good about taking photos and you can have them sit or pose or whatever, by all means do that. That's gonna make for great photos for you. But if you're just out and about and you just wanna take cute photos of your dogs in that wintry vibe, just take your phone, put it on cinematic mode, record video of them, and then take screenshots of that later. Unless you need it to blow up for like a canvas that you're printing on your wall, then you're going to need a better resolution than a cell phone. And so you are going to put them inside of little coats. Anything that looks kind of wintry is going to help you out. I particularly like coats like this because there's a little piece of Velcro right here at the front. So it goes around their neck and just Velcros. And then there's a little strap here and a little bit of Velcro right there. Everything else is open. So we're not overheating the dogs. This is not like we're going out to play in the snow all the time for long periods of time. That's not what this coat is. These are just very easy to Velcro on and off, and it's no stress to get them into. Some of the coats that I have recently got for the girls, you have to like put over their heads and then work their legs through, and then you have to take it back off and it covers their tummy. And those are going to be great for in the snow and when it gets colder. But this is great for getting your pictures. So you're just going to be able to put them in these coats and allow them to run around and play and do what they usually do. You can add scarves. If you are putting a scarf on your dog, you're going to want to have probably something that Velcros, so in case it gets caught on anything, it can just tear away. You don't, risk choking your dog. And you want to make sure that it's not too long that they're stepping on it. I've actually put Ember here in a scarf the other day that fit Lucy and Gemma, but was too long for her and she tripped over it. So I actually had to turn it to the side so that it Velcroed in back of her neck and then hung down over the side. It was very distinguished looking and I loved it. But you just have to be mindful that you're not going to trip your dog with that. Now hats you can do as well. If you are going to be using hats, make sure they have holes for their ears to come through. What I've noticed is dogs with floppier ears do better with hats than dog with pointy ears. They just don't function the same. So take that as you will. And I like to have the elastic on the side of your dog's hats with a little thing that you can kind of zip up so that it stays on their chin. That way it doesn't fall down. Now, if you have a dog with a smaller head like Ember, you may have it kind of falling in their face. So you may actually need to double up the brim of that hat underneath as opposed to above because of the way that it's attached with the elastic. So go under and just make it a little bit smaller so that it doesn't fall over their eyes. Now, as you're doing this, I don't want you to be forcing anything. I want you to just take your phone and you're just going to follow along, or take your camera and you're going to follow along with what they do. Allow them to behave naturally. Let them do whatever they're going to do, especially if you are in a fenced-in area. So I have a fenced-in yard. My dogs can go out without leashes, and they can just have the run of the front yard because it is fenced in. We don't have any trouble with that. If you do have an area where you don't want to let your dog off leash, get a long leash. We talk about that for traveling, for going to the park, for going to the beach. When you're on trips, a long leash is really important. You're going to look for a 20-foot, 30-foot, 50-foot leash. I had a 20-foot for the girls last time we went to the beach, and that was not enough. So I'm actually ordering a 50-foot leash. And with that, you're just going to want to pop it onto your wrist and let them go around and play. If you have a really big dog that can drag you, be careful. Of course, we want to make sure we're super minded of our well-being and that we're not going to get hurt and our dogs are not going to get hurt. If you have a smaller dog where you can do whatever, and they're going to listen and it's not going to pull you over, just slip it on your wrist and pay attention. You can even, if you wanted to, slip it over your foot and kind of stand on it. That means your entire body weight's holding it down, but you also have the ability or the possibility of it coming out from under your shoe as well. So just be mindful of how you are holding that long lead and just let them go. That way they have the space to wander, but you still have the control over them if you need it. And then you're just going to follow along with what they do. When they pause, take your picture. When they're moving, if you know how to move the camera and take a picture so that you get the action shot, do that. You're taking these images and you're focusing on showing off whatever winter wear they are wearing. So if they're wearing a scarf, maybe you want to get it from the front instead of from the side. If they're wearing a coat, show it off from the side or from above, not necessarily from the front, because you won't be able to see all the great detail. You are showing off those cold weather elements to project that, yeah, we're in a situation where it's cooler. And then, of course, as you're editing, whether it's on your phone, on your camera, whether you're photoshopping or you're doing things in something like Canva, you can change the temperature. So you're going to take it from where it's yellower to where it's more blue. We have the two sides of the spectrum, and you're just going to, you can even do this in your phone. Like if you have filmed a video, just go into editing and slide it one way or the other. We talk about that in lots of videos. You can check them out on the channels. And you're just going to move over to that blue tone because blue tones suggest more of that winter cold weather, while the golden tones go more towards spring and summer. So you just have to kind of balance that in your photo. Don't go too blue because then it's going to look weird and unnatural. But if you're photographing out in the winter, in general, you're going to have more of those blue tones anyway because of the different lighting and the different colors that are going to be out, and the way that things are going to photograph is going to be different. So you can kind of make it in post, in your editing, a little more wintry, and then with your props, you can make those a little more wintry as well. And then as the weather continues to change, you can change up how you are doing your different props, the different coats, the scarves, the hats. You can go more of a bundled up look, less of a bundled up look, lots of options for there. And you don't even have to go to the extreme of having like a coat. Bandanas also suggest colder weather. And you can even, if you're a bandana all year long kind of person, you can suggest what the weather is by the color bandana you pick. Certain colors go for certain times of year. Plaids tend to be fall, tend to be winter if they're red, but something like a hot pink or a yellow is going to suggest spring or summer. So be mindful of the color material you're using in your bandanas and your accessories, and that can also help you to navigate the conversation of what time of year it is that you are taking these images. Now, we've got lots of videos on how you can be taking really good photos of your dog, even if you're a brand new beginner or you are an expert, because I have been a professional photographer for like 2 decades now. And so I am here to answer your questions, to give you tips and tricks, to show you how to do the photoshopping side of things, even if you're a beginner, to show you how to take these, even if you don't have professional camera equipment like I do, you can do this with your phone. This was taken with the phone. It's a screenshot from a video, guys. You can do a lot to memorialize your dogs in the stage of life that they are in right now, so that you have these gorgeous, glorious photos and videos that you can use on social media, you can share with friends and family, and you can decorate your home with if you would like, so that you've got their life documented from start to finish as you are living your best dog parent life. And we're dropping daily videos to help you do just that. So drop your questions, drop the products we should be looking at and reviewing for you, and let us know where you need more help in documenting the life of your dog. We'll see you in the upcoming episodes.